What is going on, guys? It is a fine, super fine day here in southwestern Pennsylvania, and today we are going to be doing a basic overview of the Ninja 650. This is like a 4,000 mile review of the bike. I got this bike in February, right before Valentine's Day, and it is now January, for shit's sake, June 17th. So I didn't have the bike very long, but I put a lot of miles on it. I also kind of want to go a little bit slower because I do have 4,000 miles and I am going to start needing tires, so we're not going too crazy. So I guess in this video what I want to do is I want to talk about what I like about the bike. What is on? Yeah, it needs to be on. I want to talk about what I like about the bike, what I don't like about the bike, and who I think this bike is for. You know what I mean? And I kind of want to quickly go over a couple things that I do like about it. And these are the things that you're going to hear in every single Ninja 650 review. Every single Ninja 650 review is going to say basically the same thing. So just very quickly, I guess even before I get going, so I can limit myself on not talking about it too much. One of the great things about the Ninja 650 is its usable torque and horsepower. So unlike a 600 where the torque and horsepower kicks in high in the rev range, this motorcycle kicks in the low to medium rev range. I think about 6,500 is where it kicks, was when it's in its highest, and it's 47 foot-pounds of torque and 68 horsepower. 419 pounds dry, 424, 425 wet. That's with all the fluids. So it's a light bike, generally speaking, and it's got enough horsepower and torque to get you where you want to go in a relatively fast speed. So it, from a dead stop, 0 to 60 is like, I don't know, I'll flash it on the screen, so I can't remember, because I don't do that. It's like, off the line, it's quick, and you have power and torque in pretty much any gear. So it's really nice in the highways whenever you're already in 6th gear, but you got to get up and go for whatever reason. It's just really nice to have that available to you. And another thing real quick is I'm going to be comparing the 400 and the 600 as well, only because, like, if you're kind of watching this, maybe you're considering getting your first motorcycle and you're not sure which way you want to go. You want to get a 400? Should I get the 650? What if I just split the difference and get a 600? And I'm sure you already know the 600 is not the same motorcycle as these. That's the inline 4, way much more horsepower and torque, high in the rev range, so you're already flying, and then it kicks in, and then you're flying even more. So not the same motorcycle, but I just want to say that because I don't want to sound like I'm saying the 650 is better than the 400, or, you know, blah 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 blah. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just giving my opinion of the 650 and, you know, what I like about it. So I'm not talking down on any other motorcycle. It's just the comparison that we're doing. The other thing that I really, and we'll get going now. The other thing that I really like about this motorcycle is this TFT display. It's 4.4 inch TFT display, and it tells you everything. I mean, I have my time, total time on the bike, I have an odometer, I have trip A and B, I have average mile per gallon, I have mile per gallon, I have a fuel range. I can change it from light to dark, and vice versa. It's very nice. I'm starting to realize that I am probably very spoiled whenever there's a deer right there. Watch this. Yeah, I see ya. I didn't see you, but I seen him, and I see you little bastards. Oh my goodness. I got distracted to what I wanted to say. That's kind of, dear man, dear. And I'm realizing that I might be a little bit spoiled because, and I didn't even realize that this was a big deal, but the fact that it's like got a fuel gauge is kind of a big deal because not a lot of motorcycles apparently have that. I was watching some guy riding a Ducati Panigale V2 or V4, whichever one, and he said it does not have a fuel gauge, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous considering the fact that it's probably a gas guzzler of a motorcycle, as far as motorcycles go. But yeah, I didn't realize that that's such a kind of an uncommon thing. Probably a lot more common now, but still, I really like the instrumentation right at my fingertips. Everything's kind of right here. I'm not, you know, fiddling around with a bunch of stuff. It's simple to use and all my information's there. Again, it's probably making me spoiled as a first motorcycle, this being my first motorcycle, but I really like it, and it comes in handy quite a lot. I guess the next thing that I really like about this bike is the brakes. Now this motorcycle, this one in particular, does not have anti-lock brakes, ABS. This bike does not have ABS. So the Ninja 650 has dual, what is it, two pedal discs, 300 millimeter in the front with 2 piston calibers. The rear is a 240 millimeter pedal style disc with single piston caliber. These brakes are fantastic. I have had to very aggressively brake numerous times, and it stopped me exactly how I needed to be stopped. It doesn't have ABS, but I never slid or had lost traction with the bike, and that, I'm not like tooting my own horn, but that's just from very good progressive braking skills. This video is not about progressive braking. Please check out Moto Jiu-Jitsu or any other really good YouTubers about progressive braking and how to actually do that. But the brakes on this thing are phenomenal, and it's great to have those kind of brakes with the kind of power that the bike has. So it's got the power, and then it's got the brakes to back that up, and it just makes for an overwhelming, confident riding experience. Because if you don't have confidence in your own motorcycle, what do you really have? I'm trying to watch how I'm doing these turns, because like I said, 4,000 miles on the bike. The tires also have 4,000 miles, and that's the next thing that needs done. Like I said, 300 millimeter pedal style discs in the front, you know, 2 pistons in the front. The rear is a 240 millimeter 240, you know, single piston in the rear, and they're fantastic. I love them. I never had them lock up. The only time I ever had them lock up on me is whenever I purposefully lock them up just to feel what it feels like. And to be honest, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, that's pretty hard to do. You know what I mean? You got to really, you know, grab a fistful of brake to make that happen. Let's see, what else do I really like about the bike? I love the fact that this is the best of both worlds, meaning it looks like a sports bike, but this is a touring sports bike. The reason why I got this bike over the 400 is because I knew off the bat that I wanted the touring aspect of it. You see, people often say, you know, should I get the 400 or should I get the 650? That really depends on what kind of motorcycle rider you're trying to be. If you inevitably want to end up at a 600, go with the 400. If you inevitably want to end up with a bigger touring bike like the 1000 SX, or in my, you know, personal thing, what I want to get is a Honda Goldwing, I went with the 600 because I like the touring aspect of it. And it looks like a sports bike, it behaves like a touring bike, but you can customize it to go either way. You know, thinking off the top of my head, tires. Doing a little bit of research on tires, I found out that there's really two kinds of tires. You got tires that are more rounded and more tires that are more V. Obviously not that exaggerated, but the more rounded tires are for nice, you know, moving, touring style, where the more V-like pattern tires are for more aggressive turns, leans. You know, the bike just will behave more sporty. So knowing that this is a 650, and hey, if I want, I can dress it to be a sports bike. I can get those kind of tires. I could even, you know, get clip-ons if I wanted to. I don't know how that would mess with the ergonomics, because, you know, your pegs are where they're at. I don't know if you can move that or not. Let me know in the comments if you can. I'm sure you can. Or you can keep this as a touring bike. You can get those touring tires. You can get your saddlebags, which I want to do. You can get a more comfortable seat. You can do all this stuff to the bike, and you can really lean either which way. You know what I mean? And I think that that kind of variety, or that's an interesting bike, or versatility is really cool. You know, I do enjoy that. I think that's cool. And like I said, it's like the best of both worlds, because it looks like a sports bike. I've had a bunch of people like, oh, what is that? It's like, oh, that's a 650. It's like, that's a 650? Really? That's what they look like now. I'm like, yeah, that's what they look like. You know what I mean? So I think that's an awesome plus with this bike. You know, like I said, you want to be more sporty, hey, let's go, you know, put sports tires on. You know, we can do whatever. Or you can go the touring route, whatever you want to do. I just like the fact that you have options with this bike. The next thing that I really like about this bike is kind of a weird one, is the mirrors. Not how they look. I'm not saying I like how the mirrors look. I don't hate how the mirrors look, but I mean their usability. I don't know why this is a thing, but I remember doing a bunch of research on motorcycles whenever I was first figuring out where I wanted to go, and apparently having good mirrors is not necessarily rare, but a huge plus. A Triumph, I don't know which one it was one of the Triumphs I was watching, and the guy was just saying how vibrating and almost unusable the mirrors were. And I don't know if that individual modified his bike. I don't know if he put a different exhaust system on it. I don't know if those were aftermarket mirrors. I don't know. But I thought it was really weird, the fact that a manufacturer would make bikes with mirrors that don't really work that well, because you absolutely need your mirrors. And as a side note, please don't ever be one of those assholes that take your mirrors off your bike. I do not get that. I know you do that for the track, but if you're on the street, you're not on the track. I don't know, it doesn't matter. People can do whatever they want to do. I quit getting mad at people doing stupid stuff to their bikes, because at the end of the day, it's not me and it's not my game. So whatever. But I love the mirrors. They do not vibrate even when I'm all revved out at a high RPM. I can see everything behind me. Yeah, I have a little bit of my arm and elbow in the mirror, but it's not a big deal. It's just a small part of it, and it doesn't obstruct anything as far as visibility for me. The next thing I really like about this motorcycle is I love the headlights. Two reasons. One, I like that they're dual LED. They almost look like car headlights in the sense that vehicles seeing them might perceive them as a vehicle. They just give that little added visibility. The second thing I like about them is just how well they work. Kawasaki designed these lights to use a specific light frequency that is as natural to your eyes for your brain to decipher what the object is you're seeing. In other words, if you're riding at night, you can say, hey, that's 100% a skunk and not a rock, if that makes sense. The lighting technology in it is, it's just brilliant. It works very well. I can see very well. It makes a night riding experience really, really nice. And if you've been watching my channel, I'm sorry, I will get a night video up. I always don't know what to talk about on a night video, and I don't think they turn out very well, so I don't post them. I have a couple on reserve, but I don't know, I don't really, never really like how they turn out, it seems like. Excuse me, sir. Let's see, but the lights are fantastic. Usually I have high beams on during the day. Actually, they work great. I can see far enough ahead. They're bright, they're very clear, and again, you get that kind of car like aspect, people viewing your bike, you know, from intersections and all that stuff. I really like it. The other things that I really like about this bike is the fact that hold on. Sorry, I hate that divot. The road is weird where it's like so run over that it like there's like two pockets and it's raised in the middle. I hate that. It really throws off the bike. I guess the other thing that I really like about the Ninja 650, specifically the 2023 model, is the technology package. It has a slipper clutch, so it doesn't throw you off if you screw up. Being a beginner rider, that's pretty easy to do. You know, hey, did I shift down too early at too high of an RPM? So when you do that, you know, your back tire is now spinning slower than the road moving underneath it, so that's a skid, right? This bike prevents that from happening. It also has traction control, 3 modes of traction control. It has no input, you can turn it off, you can put a little bit of input, and then you can have the most input. So KTRC, Kawasaki traction control. Which way do I want to go? We'll go back this way. So I always have it on the most input, just because, you know, me being kind of a new rider, that's where I want it to be. So it just makes it a fantastic beginner motorcycle. You know what I mean? Because it's got that technology in it to keep you safe as a new rider. You know, the other thing that I really like about the 650 is it's a motorcycle that you can get and you can keep forever. Meaning, and again, this is not talking bad on any other motorcycles, but the Ninja 400 is a great bike. It's considered a beginner bike. It's the kind of bike that people get, they ride it for a season, they realize, I outgrown this, I want something bigger, so they get something bigger. And then they run into a problem, and this is actually Matt Underwood's idea. I thought of this myself, but then I'm like, I think somebody else said that. I did a little digging, I'm like, yeah, it was Matt, he said it. But the bike is great because it has a high resale value. Whenever you have a 400 and you go to sell that bike, you know, you're going to run into some difficulty getting rid of it. You know, a 600, people who get 600s, they want a 6 or a 650, they want the 650. It's it's just one of those bikes again where you can buy this bike and be good and not want to upgrade it, because, you know, in all honesty, I mean, considering my roads and where I'm at and stuff, it's I don't need a leader bike. I don't think I would ever get a leader bike. There's no point for me. It's not the kind of riding that I want to do, for one, and two, you're only going to get up to X amount mile an hour and have to be at an X amount of mile per hour through a turn. So who cares if you can get, you know, 130 mile an hour and then have to brake for a turn at 40? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So, you know, the 650 is a perfect bike because you can stay at the 650 class. You know, again, for me, I do want a bigger bike, and I don't want a bigger bike in the sense of power. I want a bigger bike in the sense of going distance. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where I realized that I really like the touring aspect of it, and that's kind of where I want to go with it. You know what I mean? I want to continue touring style motorcycles. Like I said, the Honda Goldwing, I want a Honda Goldwing so freaking bad. Really cool. They look like old people's bikes, don't get it twisted, but they are just like really comfortable bikes. I sat on a gentleman's Goldwing. It was like a 90s model, and it was just like sitting on a lazy boy. It was absolutely incredible. I'm like, man, I could just take this thing and go. So let me just run through the list in my head. Did I say everything that I like about the bike before I jump into things that I don't like about the bike? Let's see. I said that. I said that. I said the brakes. I said the lights. I said the technology. I said that it's versatile. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about what I like about the bike. The horsepower, yeah, I think that's everything. So let's now talk a little bit about what I don't like about the bike. And please, when I say that what I don't like about the bike, this is so subjective in the sense that I'm not a typical rider. And by not a typical rider, I mean I put 4,000 miles on this bike in 4 months, and 2 of which were winter time. That's not necessarily normal. So what I'm about to say, you know, take it for a grain of salt. And I gotta keep my hands on the freaking steering wheel or handlebars because there are deer afoot. So, okay. One of the things that I don't like about the 650, and it's not even that I don't like it, I'm just upgrading it, is the seat. The seat is very comfortable. It's like 31.5-inch inseam or something like that. It's a wide seat, so it's a comfortable seat, but it's still a stock seat. And I just noticed with how I ride and how long I ride that that's not enough. And that's not really a qualm to pick at, because of course, why would they give you the best of the best whenever that means they would only sell you once? They got to sell you twice or 3 times. So they're not going to give you the best seat. Here's the best seat for X amount of dollars. So I can't be mad about that. The other thing that I kind of don't like, or not that I don't like, that I was disappointed, and also this is how I ride, so this is also very subjective, is I thought that I would be getting 500,000 miles to the gallon. Averaging right now it says 55. Before it was saying less than that, but it seems like every time I go out I'm filling it up. And again, I do think that's because of how much I ride, so I can't really be too mad about that. And on really long distances, whenever, you know, I'm just kind of cruising on interstates or just open roads and staying in a specific gear, not starting and stopping, I think that'll be a lot better. So, you know, that is what it is. And I will admit, I ride aggressively, so, you know, that's also going to dramatically influence fuel consumption. So I think if I like chill out and then, you know, not take this bike to, you know, New Mexico every other day, I don't really, but still, you know, I think that would be a different situation. The other thing that I don't necessarily like about the bike is, and it's not that I don't like about it, it's just, I don't guess it's weird, is the, let me get it up here, is my fuel range. So right now, about 3/4 full, it says I have 145 miles till empty. Sometimes it'll be all the way filled up, excuse me, and it'll say like 80 miles to empty. Or other times I'll fill up and then it will say 260 with a plus sign till empty, or 180 with a plus sign till empty. It just seems like it's really kind of all over the place. But as I'm thinking about this now, as I'm talking to you, I think a lot of it is like a computer calculation of my average speed and my average miles to gallon. So I think it's like a ratio thing. So I think if I ride it better and have a better average miles per gallon, I think that'll change the range. But it's just one of those things where sometimes it seems a little all over the place, and I don't like that. And the fact that when I take this thing cross country, which, you know, this summer I really want to take this to Utah, or I want to do East Coast kind of thing. I really want to know where I'm at, right? Especially if I'm going across the country and I'm in the middle of a freaking desert and not a gas station for a while away. This is a very interesting turn. Turning our head, a little bit of counterbalancing going on. But yeah, those are really like the only thing. Oh, there's one more thing that I almost don't like about the bike, and it's a weird one because it could also be taken by some people something that they really like about the bike, and that's the engine braking. The engine braking on this bike is very strong. So engine braking, if you don't know, is whenever you let off the gas, how much does that bike slow down? And the only reason that's kind of an issue for me, again, is because of how much I ride. My hands get tired, and when my hands get tired, I want to let go and let my hand kind of dangle. But I can only do it for so long, or I got to pull in the clutch, and then I can do it a little bit longer. But yeah, the engine braking is very strong. So that's kind of a qualm, but that's also kind of like a my fault kind of thing, because at the end of the day, you're not supposed to, you know, do this. You're kind of supposed to treat this like a screwdriver and kind of drive like that, and it does, it's more of a natural feel, and it definitely does help. Or I could get a like a makeshift cruise control situation, or I could just quit being a bitch and suck it up, one of those. But you know, the engine braking can be quite strong, and again, whenever I am in a situation where I've been riding for a long time and I kind of want to just chill, it yeah, sometimes it can be a little bit of a pain. So those are the things that I like about the bike and things that I don't like about the bike. The last thing we're going to talk about real quick before this video gets way too long is, who is this bike for? This bike is for a beginner rider to an intermediate rider. This bike, I think, is for the person who wants to commute. I think this bike is for the person who wants to get into motorcycle riding, but they want to ride comfortably and they want to eventually get into touring motorcycles. I think the 400 and the 650 are fantastic beginner bikes for two different reasons. Again, you get the 400 if you kind of want to go into the more sport bike style, because you kind of got the clip-ons. It's prepping you for aggressive riding positions, whereas this one is so upright and so comfortable, it's not doing that at all. So I think the 650 is really for that new rider that wants a decent amount of technology. They want a forgiving bike. They want a bike that has power when you need it, but they doesn't have power that's going to scare you. There's a nice kitty there. And it also, like I said, it has the power for where you need it, but it's not going to scare you. It has the technology to back it up. It's got the brakes to back it up. And it's an overall fantastic looking bike. It's a gorgeous bike. I think the 650s are an absolute gorgeous bike. And, you know, this one specifically, again, is like, it's the best of both worlds, right? It's, you know, it's your sporty bike, then it's your touring bike, you know. So it's I never want to say that, you know, the 400 is better than the 650 or vice versa. You really just got to think about what kind of rider you're trying to be. I'm trying to not say the same things over and over in my videos, but, you know, there's a repetitive truth to it. But, you know, I think that's really all I want to say. I don't want to have too long of a video, but, you know, yeah, I think the 650 is a fantastic beginner bike for, you know, that person who wants a good looking bike. They want, you know, a very well built bike. I'm talking about the Kawasaki 650 specifically. I don't know too much about the other 650s. I'm sure they're fine too, you know what I mean, but you know, it's just a fantastic machine, and I love it. You know, parts are available everywhere if you need them, you know, and it does everything you want it to do in a stylish package and all that stuff. And I think that's about it, guys. I think that I talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. Hopefully this has been recording. It looks like it has been, so that's fantastic. I can't wait to get my tires. I can't believe that I put over 4,000 or almost 4,000 miles on this motorcycle in such a dang short amount of time. That's crazy. I think by the time the end of the season's done, I'm gonna have, I don't think that I'll have 10,000 miles, but I think that I'll be really close to 10,000 miles, which is absolutely nuts. But it is what it is. It's what I bought it for. I bought it to ride it, and by golly, am I riding it. But yeah, hey, I will see you guys later, and hopefully you made it to the end of this video. If you did make it to the end of this video, please like, share, subscribe. Let me know how I did on this video, if it was good, if it was bad, and all that stuff. Yay, we got the light, we got the power, we got the power. Oh my goodness. Such a beautiful bike, and some water. Water's fantastic. Look at it. Look at it. I don't know. Okay, now I'm just being stupid. Turn my turn signal off. Don't want to be that guy. Anyways, I'm rambling again. I will see you guys later. thank you so much for watching. Let me know how I did on this, and yeah, let me know if there's any other pros and cons you like about your bike and all that stuff. So I will talk to you guys later. I don't know. See you later.